Hi guys, Charlie here. April 26, 1986, Chernobyl, Ukraine. It was like any other day at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant. A routine test was being carried out on reactor number 4, but the reactor had a major design flaw. This caused a massive buildup of heat. The scientist in charge of the test initiated an emergency shutdown, but he was not trained very well at all and did it totally wrong. This caused the thermal output of the reactor to skyrocket. A massive power spike then occurred, and this caused a gigantic explosion. The scientists soon realized that the entire power plant was going to explode. They immediately evacuated, but for many it was too late. The explosion was like a very powerful dirty bomb. That is a bomb which contains radioactive material. The massive cloud of radioactive materials floated all across Europe, and the power plant and surrounding areas became one of the most deadly places in the world. After the explosion, everyone nearby had 24 hours to evacuate. They had to take whatever belongings they could and say goodbye to their homes forever. A 30-kilometer exclusion zone was created around the power plant. This was to make sure that nothing could get in or out. It would be dangerous for any humans or animals to go into the zone, and dangerous for any contaminated things to leave it. But since then, some terrifying things have been found in Chernobyl. Scientists and researchers have gone to the exclusion zone many times, and on several occasions what they found really scared them. One of the scariest things seen at Chernobyl is the blackbird. This was something that was seen and even photographed by Chernobyl scientists. And it happened right as the meltdown was going on. Just before the worst nuclear explosion in history hit Ukraine, something strange was seen in the sky. What appeared to be a half-man, half-bird was seen flying in the sky. The creature had glowing red eyes and a dark black body. It also had wings so large that it could not have been a bird or a bat. It is referred to as the blackbird of Chernobyl. Unfortunately, the only proof of the Chernobyl blackbird is some grainy images captured by a scientist. But even from these images, it's clear that this is not simply a bird. Experts have said it looks similar to a giant golden-crowned flying fox. This is a species of megabat found in the Philippines. But there have been no recorded sightings of these in Ukraine, so it's likely not one of those. Some speculated that this could have been a military plane. Maybe the Soviet Air Force was monitoring the meltdown from the skies. The blackbird was spotted a few days after the explosion as well. It was seen flying through the smoke and nuclear emissions too. But after a few days, it vanished, never to be seen again. The blackbird remains a mystery to this day. But one thing that we are sure about is that in the Chernobyl forest, there are many mutated animals. After the blast, many animals passed away immediately. This is because they interacted with highly irradiated objects. For example, the debris of the power plant. This scattered several kilometers around the explosion site. But for the animals that did survive, the blast had devastating, lasting effects. The nuclear material from the plant leaked into the soil. This contaminated all of the food and water the animals would drink. And of course, the atmosphere in the area is very radioactive too. After the blast, pigs, goats, and horses were born mutated in the area. There are many wild horses who roam the area, and also lots of stray dogs too. Mutant wolves have also recently been found in the Chernobyl forest, and these wolves are now spreading mutations caused by radioactivity to wolves all over Europe. It's true, even though Chernobyl exploded more than 30 years ago, the effects are still going on today. Mutant catfish have also been found in the Chernobyl cooling pond. The cooling pond was a large body of water to keep the reactors from overheating. Today there is no use for these cooling pools. And now catfish live inside it. Amazingly, they have adapted. The catfish are gigantic. They've mutated because of the radioactive materials in the water. But surprisingly, the cooling ponds are not the most dangerous place in the Chernobyl power plant today. In fact, the most dangerous place in all of Chernobyl is known as the nuclear elephant. If you're enjoying this video, then a sub to the channel would be explosive. This place is also known as the Elephant's Foot. For many years, no photos could even be captured of this place. That's because if you went too near, then you would perish instantly. The elephant's foot is of a reactor core lava formation in the basement of the Chernobyl nuclear plant. It weighs many tons and is 2 meters wide. Approaching it means that you will pass away. The first image of it was taken in 1996. That was when it was emitting 1/10 of the radiation it once had. Many refer to the elephant's foot as Medusa. That's because if you look at it, then you will perish. That is just like the woman in Greek mythology, where if you look at her, then you will turn to stone. The first image of the elephant's foot had to be captured using a mirror. This was to avoid any direct contact, as the photographer would have passed away otherwise. But since then, people have made direct contact. This does damage your health, but some researchers risk their lives for the scientific value it will bring. The elephant's foot is the direct remains of reactor number 4. That is the first reactor that exploded, causing the meltdown. But what exactly is the elephant's foot made of? Well, it's a very deadly cocktail of various different chemicals. It's mainly made up of silicon dioxide, but inside there is also magnesium, uranium, and graphite. When these things are combined, it creates extreme levels of radioactivity. It likely won't be safe to go anywhere near the elephant's foot for hundreds of years to come. The mass was totally solid after the explosion, and when scientists used a remote drill, it was not damaged at all. In the immediate aftermath of the explosion, if you were to stand next to the elephant's foot, then you would pass away within 5 minutes. And even today, if you stand next to the elephant's foot for more than 24 hours, you would pass away. This is because it would give you a deadly dose of radiation. Pretty much everything in Chernobyl is scary. But if you go here, it's not just things caused by the explosion that will creep you out. If you go to Chernobyl today, there's a good chance you may run into a stalker. When I say stalker, I don't mean someone who follows you around. The stalkers is a name given to people who go to Chernobyl and romanticize it. Even though you're not allowed to go into the Chernobyl blast zone, many do anyway. These stalkers really like the apocalyptic environment of Pripyat and Chernobyl. Stalkers are mainly from Russia and Ukraine. But over the years, stalkers from all over the world have flocked to Chernobyl. They sneak into abandoned buildings and explore them. Many of the clips I've used in this video of Chernobyl have been purchased from stalkers. They often go into Chernobyl and take amazing videos and photos. Some stalkers even eat the fruit that grows in the danger zone, despite the radioactive nature of this fruit. One of the main reasons stalkers go to the Chernobyl blast zone is to see something that researchers found after the meltdown. This is known as the Bloody Red. The Bloody Red is also known as the Red Forest. It is the name given to the forest area around Chernobyl. Many of the trees are green, but not all of them. One area received so much radiation that all of the green left the leaves of the trees. The trees turned a bright red color and then wilted. Today, not a single tree can grow in this area. The soil is simply way too radioactive for anything to grow or live. It is considered the most radioactive land area on the entire planet, but that does not stop many people from going there. It is a massive area of 400 hectares of land. Even researchers and scientists don't go in there. They normally use UAV drones to fly over to map the area. That's because to this day it's still not safe for humans to go near. But in 2016, something even scarier happened in the Bloody Red. An arsonist entered the forest and set fire to some trees. This caused a large forest fire, and even more radioactive material was released from the area. Radioactive smoke floated out of the area and into places where people lived. But now it's time for you to make your voice heard. Leave a comment down below which was the scariest thing found in the Chernobyl forest. If you want some more amazing videos, then check out my second channel. But as always, thanks for watching. There are some more videos you will love on screen right now. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and if you haven't already, what are you waiting for? Subscribe to Top 10s.